So this is my Abarth 595 Trofeo edition. And today, let's go and have a look around it. So first of all, let's start talking about this actual car itself. It is not standard. It is actually modified. This car, originally from factory, would have been running 140 brake horsepower, but now is running 172 brake horsepower. And it's quite lethal in this little front-wheel drive car. It is quite a beast. These cars do not have an LSD, so you are spinning up wheels in the wet, which can be a big issue, definitely on tyre wear, that's for sure. But what I can tell you is these are fantastic. Let me tell you, on the topic of tyre wear, having good tyres is definitely a good thing with these cars. Now, as I've seen in the actual group, I know a lot of you are very avid of getting the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s or 5Ss. I've opted for the Goodyear Eagle F1s, as I have found that they are pretty much the same in performance, but also I managed to get mine for a lot cheaper price than Michelin's. When getting an Abarth, it is really important to have good tyres, definitely not any sort of cheap stuff, because these do like to spin up, definitely in the wet, just how small the cars are, they struggle for traction. These cars do have traction control, however, but you're going to have to excuse the woodchopper. The system isn't that great. It tries to avoid the spinning up, but it doesn't really do much to prevent it. It just, because of what I've noticed, it still spins up even in just like not with TTC on. TTC on obviously is the torque transfer control system, which locks the inner wheel on a corner when you're cornering hard. But what I've also found is that it does actually loosen off the traction control a little bit as well. But like I say, the traction control system in these just absolutely sucks. And there is no way to turn it off, which is an absolute shame. As I mentioned, you do want to have good shoes on your Abarth. Definitely with the short wheelbase of it, definitely you want some good ones on the back and good ones on the front. Admittedly, I've only got Avon's FV7s at the back, but in all fairness, they are still good tyres. They do have their issues where they do actually start cracking at an early age, and they can be known for bulging, which I have had issues with, and I've had to change one because of that. But saying that, because this car has the FSD suspension at the front, the camber is slightly negative, which means you're going to need to be aware and keep an eye on the front tyres for balding on the inside edge. Because we have had that before, and it's not a fun experience, because you could potentially have cords exposed, and if one of your tyres go pop, that's not very good. But that is just something that you need to keep in mind with these cars and monitor all the time, is the inside edge of the tyres, definitely when your wheel's spinning a lot, which personally I do not do, because I know the limits of this car. I never floor it all the time, and to try and save you some money on tyres, which, yeah, that is one of the things. You can get them slightly adjusted, but I wouldn't really recommend it, because it will affect the handling of the car, and you sort of lose that Abarth feel with them. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Another thing that I have done to this car is the exhaust system, and it does just sound amazing. I mean, just listen to this. It is such an upgrade to the stock system. The stock system is such a more trebly sort of sound, which, don't get me wrong, it is lovely, but also these look so much better. This is the MS Racing twin silencer exhaust. and it is just so much better. And I've actually noticed there's a little bit of a performance difference with it. It's a lot more responsive on the throttle, and it feels like it's given more power to the map. The exhaust was put on after the remap, which is the wrong thing to do. You want to put the exhaust on before you do the map, but I didn't realise I was going to get an exhaust. But honestly, it's made such an improvement, and it's not obnoxiously loud. The Bombardone exhaust, I find, can be quite a drony exhaust, definitely on motorways and long distance and normal driving, and it can get a bit irritating. But this, honestly, is quite a good fine line, and you haven't got any valves to worry about. Now, the inside of the car. So, with the money that you spend on these vehicles, you aren't getting a lot at all. In the Trofeo edition, we get, definitely on the 2015 model, we get a TFT screen, which is right down there, and you can see that my car's done 56,000 miles, which is on average for its age. It's not too bad. An upgrade that I have done personally is this double DIN system with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It's so much of an improvement from the last radio system. The last radio system didn't even have Bluetooth connectivity, and it's just so much better. And the audio quality out of this system is so crisp, so crisp. Another thing that I've also done in this car, as you may notice now, is the Turismo gear knob with the white carbon fibre or silver carbon fibre, whatever you want to call it. This had to be done. The reason why I had to do that is because the leather knob that you actually get in these cars are off of the Bambosto, but they're really cumbersome and they're just not very, very nice. So that had to be changed. But what you also get in this car, you also get a climate control system, which you do get AC in these. They're very confusing. The first time I got in here, I thought, how do you turn that on? And it is simply just a press-in button, but it won't do that because I haven't got the fan on. And there you go, it lights up, and the AC is now on. But yeah, to be honest, this system seems to be a really good non-climate control system. The fact that you can tweak the temperature yourself and you don't have the choice of putting the temperature in what the temperature you want the car to be at. I do personally prefer that, but however, we don't have it here. But I still find it is brilliant. It's not hot or cold, whatever you have it on. You can be very precise on what temperature you want it at, and I never find myself like constantly going back at it and going, I'm not hot or cold. Now, as for driving, this thing is really, really great fun. It's got a 5-speed gearbox, which is, in my opinion, perfect for this engine. I know a lot of people want and would like a 6-speed, and yes, it would be nice, but and with the 6-speed you'll probably be getting a little bit more better fuel economy as well. But the thing is with this 5-speed gearbox is that you've got 5 speeds to play with, and when you're sitting at 70 miles an hour and you're in 5th gear, you're right in the power bound, so you can just shoot straight off, and it's great fun. Now I'm going to take it down some twisty roads, albeit that it is not very fun speed limit. That's the only thing. 24 mile an hour, but here we go. It does pop and bang, and it is great fun around these roads. TTC is available in this car, and it comes on any Abarth. When you buy an Abarth, it is a standard fitted assisted equipment. It brakes the inner wheel on a corner when you're going around it hard, and it basically just drags the car around the corner. And I've also noticed that it does actually lean off a little bit of the traction control, which is really, really quite good. But even just cruising about how I am now, it's still fun. I mean, you get to listen to that exhaust note, you get to play with the torque bound and everything like that. It is a really, really fun car. And even when you downshift, put your foot down, it's just so much fun. And in the corners, you can really feel the big wide tyres just hooking you around. There is a lot of roll at the back, and as stated, this car doesn't have SSDs all round, which is definitely a modification I am looking to do. But in saying that, it still really hooks around the corners. And obviously, the big kicker of it, yes, the car is on the basis of a Fiat 500, and a lot of people do struggle to fit in a car like that, and yeah, you probably might struggle to fit in this. Luckily for me, I'm quite small, and because of that, I've got loads more travel in my seat, my height and my legs, so this car fits me perfectly. But anybody who's a little bit bigger and a little bit more average sized, you might struggle a little bit. These corners, man. Absolute hoot. My car now is on 56,000 miles, which is bang on average for the age of this vehicle. It's now 8 years old, on a 2015 plate, or 65 plate in the UK. And I've got to say, I've driven a exactly the same age Abarth 595 Turismo with 25,000 miles on the clock, and this doesn't feel any different to it. The clutch is the same, brakes feel the same. It really hasn't. It really hasn't. Doesn't show its age. That exhaust front you get as well with this new MS Racing exhaust. It is awesome. It's a shame they haven't been in supply for a very long time now, which is why I had to get mine second hand. But luckily, the guy only had it on his car for I think about 6 months, so it's like hardly worn in. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely better cars out there, but us in the Abarth community and everybody who I know personally, we all know that there's just something with them that makes them so much fun. They're not value for money, I can tell you that. You're better off spending your money on a Mini or something like that, or BMW M40i, because they have more tech, and they've just got a lot more for your money. Whereas these, they're very standard for the age of the vehicles as well. And bearing in mind, the platform has been going since the Fiat 500 came out. I mean, the Abarths were being made in 2008, late 2008, and they haven't changed much other than Garrett Turbo newer models and a facelift and the Monza exhaust. But that's it. They really haven't changed much. But there is something that is just so much fun with these, and it's hard to describe. I think it's just because you can't get a car this small with these big, massive tyres and 180 brake horsepower and a 1.4 litre engine, and that is somewhat economical as well. It's depending on how you drive it, of course, but it's just amazing. It does amaze me, and the way that these are so easy to drive as well. Like, I mean, I'm just stuck in traffic at the minute, as you can see, and it's just so easy to drive. Even got hill descent control as well. It's just brilliant. You can feel every single bump in this. I mean, just going down this road, I can feel the ruts, and it's just jogging me about a lot. But it's not uncomfortable, which is a good sign.
Definitely at the rear end, I can definitely notice that it's a lot more softer. Because the front's got the FSDs, there's sort of that fine mixed balance between sport and comfort, which I find are fantastic. And I've got to say, I haven't got any humble grumbles for it. For the price that I paid for this car, I think I've got quite a nice one. Like I say, the only issues I have with it are tyres, and it's mainly because I opted for the Avons every 7s, and they haven't been very good for not cracking. So I've had issues with that, and MOT advisories because of it. Can't beat the noise of these things. I mean, what other car can you get without a soft limiter, for one, and it's modern, and sounds like that? It just amazes me. It really does amaze me, this car. And the torque is incredible. This Celtic tune is not a custom tune at all. The Celtic tune is actually an OBD scan tune, so it goes straight into the OBD and then onto your car's ECU. So for a flash remap, they've done a really good job, Celtic. It doesn't feel lumpy or anything like that. It feels like it's been properly done, and all they did was flash the ECU. And like I say, I'll be really interested to see what this will do on the rolling road this month, actually. Blown away, are you? Something you might find interesting as well, and something you may know my age. I'm now 20 years old, and but when I bought this I was 19, and you would think, God, what would the insurance be on that? And to be honest, they're not bad. The whole reason I actually hold off from getting one because I thought the insurance was going to be quite bad, but then I did a quote, and it was I believe my first quote, it was £750 a year, so that's like 70-80 quid a month. And I thought, right, I'm getting one. So really, these aren't too bad for younger drivers. Oh, pops. I didn't get one. Well, I hope you really enjoyed this unscripted video. It was very unscripted, it was just on the top of my head. This is my Abarth 595 Trofeo edition, and yeah, I've had it a year now and I love it. Not ever thinking about getting rid of it yet, so I'm still keeping with it. And yeah, next thing is FSDs at the back. And yeah, stay tuned for next event videos. I will be posting events videos for this year. And yeah, see you then.